Hello everyone. Cherry Blossom, I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Today, I'll continue telling you the story of the single mother, Lytuna. After being accepted by Alex's family, Tuna finally felt as if a heavy burden had been lifted from her heart. All her worries, fears, and insecurities about the past seemed to fade away. She had once believed that her background would make people keep their distance, that her love with Alex would face countless obstacles, but everything turned out warmer and kinder than she ever imagined. Alex's family didn't just accept her, they also grew to love little Eri, the child who couldn't yet speak, but whose clear eyes and innocent smile melted everyone's heart. That afternoon, the house was bathed in gentle golden light. Alex's mother carefully arranged the living room, while his father busied himself preparing dinner. The homely atmosphere made Tuna both moved and shy. She had never thought she would one day sit in a home filled with love, a place of laughter, the aroma of warm food, and kind voices around the dining table. When the meal began, Alex's mother gently placed her hand over Tuna's and said softly, "My dear, don't think too much anymore. From today on, you're family. I can see how happy Alex is when you and little Eri are with him." Hearing that, Tuna couldn't hold back her emotions. She bowed her head, her voice trembling. "Thank you, Mom. I'm afraid I'm not worthy." Alex's mother smiled and shook her head. "Happiness doesn't come from the past, my dear. It comes from what you bring into the present." Tuna couldn't say another word. She just nodded, lips pressed together. Beside her, Alex quietly held her hand, his gaze full of warmth. Under the table, little Eri sat on a small chair, tapping the wooden table with his spoon, babbling softly. Tuna looked at him and laughed. Though her son couldn't speak yet, his round eyes sparkled with pure joy. She felt it clearly, even if he couldn't say Mom. Every touch, every smile, every tiny breath was already the sweetest expression of love. After dinner, Alex took Eri out to the garden. The sky had turned lavender, and the evening breeze brushed gently through the trees. Standing by the porch, Tuna watched the two of them, her heart at peace. Eri waved his little hand excitedly while Alex bent down to kiss his son's forehead, then turned to look at her. His gaze so tender that, in that instant, she knew she had found her home. That night, when everyone had gone to sleep, Tuna still sat beside the crib, watching Eri's peaceful face. Moonlight streamed through the window, painting his small features in a soft glow. She whispered to herself, "Thank you for coming into my life. Thank you, Alex, for showing me what it means to be truly loved." Tuna smiled. Her heart felt lighter than ever. After years of wandering and uncertainty, she had finally found her harbor. A place of love, faith, and the quiet sound of her child's breathing beside her. The next morning, like always, Tuna woke early, placed a gentle kiss on Eri's forehead, and hurried off to work. The early autumn air was cool, yet she felt strangely weak, dizzy, lightheaded, drained of strength. She thought it was just fatigue from staying up late and brushed it off with a smile. At the small flower shop where she worked, the tasks weren't heavy but required patience and hours of standing. By mid-morning, sweat gathered on her forehead. Her hands trembled slightly as she arranged the flowers, and her vision blurred. Her boss noticed and asked, worried, "Nah, are you okay? You look pale. Want to take a break?" She forced a smile. "I'm fine, just a little tired, that's all." But by noon the dizziness grew worse. Tuna asked to leave early and slowly walked home under the mild sun. She dropped her bag on the sofa, took a deep breath and poured herself a glass of warm water. After resting a bit, she made a simple meal, just plain porridge and boiled eggs. Yet the moment she smelled the food, nausea hit. Covering her mouth, she ran to the bathroom. Staring at her reflection in the mirror, pale face, tired eyes, she murmured, "That's strange. I didn't eat anything bad." But then an odd feeling stirred inside her. A strange mix of anxiety and anticipation. She recalled the past few days. Sudden sleepiness, nausea at food smells, and unshakable fatigue. Her hand slowly moved to her belly. Her heart skipped a beat. Could it be? Unable to dismiss the thought, she went to a nearby clinic. On the way, she kept worrying. If something's wrong, who will take care of Ari? She sat waiting, hands clasped tightly. When the doctor came out smiling, she heard words that made her breath catch. Congratulations, you're about 5 weeks pregnant. Tuna froze, her eyes wide. The world seemed to stand still. Then her lips trembled, a flicker of joy spreading through her chest, mixed with fear. Pregnant? Really? She whispered. Yes, the doctor replied kindly. Your health looks fine, but you should rest more, eat well, and avoid heavy work. The baby is still very small, so take good care. Walking out of the clinic, Tuna moved slowly beneath the leafy trees. Her hand rested on her belly, warmth blooming inside her. Tears welled in her eyes. A tiny life was growing within her. She was both happy and anxious. Happy because this child was a symbol of her love with Alex. Worried because she didn't know how he would react. Would he share her joy? Or would he worry about her health, her job, their still young child? Tuna smiled softly, eyes shimmering in the sunlight. She whispered to her unborn baby, "Hello, little one. I didn't expect you to come so soon. But I promise I'll do everything I can to love and protect you. Just as I've done with Ari." Tuna held the medical report in her trembling hands, her heart still pounding fast. The words "approximately 5 weeks pregnant" seemed to glow on the paper, standing out among the other lines as if they carried a light of their own. She stared at them in disbelief, her mind swirling with a mix of joy and anxiety. On the way home, she walked slower than usual, her steps light and cautious, afraid that even the smallest movement might disturb the tiny life now growing inside her. Every gentle breeze that brushed past made her instinctively rest her hand on her belly, where a miracle had just begun to form. When she arrived home, little Ari was lying on the soft mat, playing with a small toy in his hands, babbling nonsense sounds. The sight of him made Tuna's heart melt. She knelt down, gently brushing her fingers through his fine hair, a faint smile curving her lips. "Be good, Ari. Mommy has a secret to tell you soon. But not yet, okay? You have to promise to keep it for now." She chuckled softly, knowing full well that he couldn't understand a word. Yet the innocence in his clear eyes made her feel as if she had just shared her deepest joy with someone who truly listened. That evening, Alex came home earlier than usual, carrying a small bouquet of flowers and a few of Tuna's favorite pastries. As soon as he opened the door, his cheerful voice filled the room. "Nah, I passed by the bakery and saw the kind you like, so I bought some." Startled, Tuna quickly slipped the medical report into the drawer nearby before turning around with the most natural smile she could manage. "You're home early. I was just tidying up a bit." Alex set the pastries on the table and walked over to her, his hand gently resting on her shoulder. "You look tired. You've lost weight lately. Is work too stressful?" Her heart skipped a beat. She almost confessed everything right there, but the concern in his eyes made her hesitate. She didn't want him to worry when his work was already demanding. "I'm fine, really. I just haven't been sleeping well these days. I'll take a morning off tomorrow and I'll be okay." Alex nodded, though doubt lingered in his eyes. He gave her hand a gentle squeeze. "If you're not feeling well, don't push yourself. I can take a few days off to stay home with you and Ari." She smiled warmly, shaking her head. "You taking care of us is already more than enough. I'm okay, truly." She smiled again, though a wave of emotion rose quietly in her chest. When Alex turned to get some water, she placed her hand lightly on her stomach and whispered tenderly, "Little one, Mommy hasn't told Daddy yet. I want to wait a little longer until you're stronger. Then I'll tell him. He'll be so happy, I just know it." That night, after Alex had fallen asleep, Tuna lay still beside him, her hand resting over her belly. She could feel the rhythm of her heartbeat and the faint presence of the tiny life within her. Outside, the moonlight streamed gently through the window, bathing her serene face in silver light. Inside her, happiness bloomed, quiet, gentle but deep as the sea. She smiled softly and whispered into the night, "Thank you for coming to me, my little one, for showing me what complete happiness feels like. One day I'll tell your daddy, and we'll welcome you together with all the love in our hearts." A few days later, the weather turned cooler. Golden autumn sunlight spread over the small yard in front of their home. Tuna still went to work as usual, but fatigue had begun to visit her more often. Each morning, the smell of coffee or fried food made her nauseous. Sometimes, after only a few bites of breakfast, she'd have to stop. She tried to hide it, not wanting Alex to worry, but the subtle changes didn't escape his notice. That afternoon, as she was watering flowers in the yard, Alex returned from work. From a distance, he quietly watched her. The slender figure, her hair tied neatly, her face a little paler than before. He walked closer, gently taking the watering can from her hands. "Let me do it. You don't look so well." Tuna smiled faintly, wiping a bead of sweat from her forehead. "I'm fine, just a little tired. It's probably the weather changing." Alex narrowed his eyes, his voice tinged with suspicion. "Just tired? You've been eating less, sleeping lightly, and getting nauseous easily. Is there something you haven't told me?" Her body stiffened. She hadn't expected him to notice every little thing. Her heart raced, her fingers tightening on her shirt hem. She tried to sound calm. "Really? I just overworked myself a bit. Don't worry. I'll be fine in a few days." Alex stayed silent, his gaze searching her face. His eyes were deep, full of quiet worry. He stepped closer, gently tilting her chin up. "Nah. You know me, don't you? Whatever it is, don't hide it. I can handle anything, except seeing you suffer alone." Her heart ached at his words. She wanted to tell him everything, that a tiny miracle born of their love was growing inside her. But instead she smiled softly, avoiding his gaze, and squeezed his hand. "I promise if it's anything serious, you'll be the first to know. But right now let me cook dinner, okay? You must be hungry." Alex said nothing, but the feeling that something was different only grew stronger. He watched her walk slowly into the kitchen, pausing occasionally to catch her breath. A strange instinct whispered to him. Tuna was hiding something. Not something sad, but something that made her both nervous and joyful. During dinner that night, Alex noticed her quietly pushing her bowl away, frowning slightly at the smell of fish soup. He set down his chopsticks and asked gently, "Are you sure it's just fatigue? Should I take you to see the doctor again?" Caught off guard, Tuna steadied her breath and smiled faintly. "No need, I'm fine. I just don't feel like eating fish." Alex nodded, though inside, his suspicion deepened. He looked at little Eri giggling in his high chair, tapping his spoon against the tray, and suddenly thought, maybe a new miracle was already on its way to them. That night, Tuna couldn't sleep. She turned to look at Alex sleeping peacefully beside her, and her hand found its way to her belly again. Her heart was full of warmth, hope, and tender excitement. "Alex, I want to tell you so much," she whispered softly, "but I want to wait just a little longer, until everything feels certain, so this happiness will be perfect." She kissed his hand lightly, her lips curling into a fragile smile. Outside, the moon shone softly through the window, a silent witness to the sweet little secret she carried within her, a new happiness waiting to bloom. The next morning, sunlight filtered softly through the curtains, filling the small room with a warm golden glow. Birds chirped outside the window, and the gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze made the world seem perfectly peaceful. Alex woke earlier than usual. He was looking for his favorite shirt to wear to work when, upon opening the drawer near the vanity, a small envelope slipped out and fluttered to the floor. He bent down to pick it up. His eyes caught the familiar name written on it. lytudiep, stamped with the logo of a well-known obstetrics clinic in the city. A slight frown crossed his face. He didn't remember Tuna mentioning any medical visit recently. A strange feeling stirred inside him. Slowly, he opened the envelope. Inside was a sonogram result, and the words printed clearly. Approximately 5 weeks pregnant. Alex froze. For a moment, everything around him seemed to fall silent. His gaze lingered on the blurry little dot in the image, smaller than a bean. Yet it made his heart pound harder than ever. "Nah, you," he whispered under his breath, his voice trembling. He turned toward the bed. Tuna was still asleep, breathing softly, her hair scattered gently across the pillow. Her face looked so peaceful, so angelic. Alex quietly sat beside her, the ultrasound paper still in his hand, his eyes never leaving her face. And then it all clicked, the fatigue, the nausea, the way she forced smiles to hide it all. She hadn't wanted him to worry. A rush of tenderness surged through him, deep and overwhelming. Unable to hold it back, Alex gently took her hand. It was small, soft, and fragile, yet it carried an incredible strength, the strength of a mother quietly protecting the tiny life within her. Tuna stirred and slowly opened her eyes, seeing him watching her with a strange expression, a mix of warmth and emotion. She blinked in surprise. "You're up early?" Alex didn't answer right away. He held up the piece of paper in his hand, his voice low and unsteady. "How long were you planning to keep this from me?" Tuna froze. Her lips parted, but no sound came out. Her eyes glistened as her hand instinctively moved to her belly. I was going to tell you, I just didn't want you to worry." Alex smiled, his eyes bright with joy he couldn't hide. He set the paper aside and pulled her into a tight embrace. "Nah, thank you. Thank you for giving me the most precious gift of all." Tuna burst into tears, tears of pure, trembling happiness. "I didn't think you'd be this happy." "Silly girl," Alex murmured, resting his hand over her stomach. "You have no idea. This is the second miracle of my life. The first was meeting you, and the second is this little life we created together." They stayed there, wrapped in each other's arms, their hearts beating in harmony. Outside, morning sunlight poured through the window, lighting up the small room. A place where love was quietly growing stronger with each passing day. That morning, however, the sky gradually turned gray. Heavy clouds drifted in, veiling the gentle sunshine of the previous days. Inside the house, Tuna was preparing milk for little Eri when her phone buzzed. A message from her colleagues at the flower shop, congratulating her after hearing she'd been given extended leave due to her health. She smiled softly, her hand resting unconsciously on her belly, still glowing with the happiness of having shared her secret with Alex. But elsewhere in the city, the woman who had silently loved Alex for years, sat motionless by the cafe window, her eyes hardening as she read the message a friend had sent her. "Heard that Alex's girlfriend, Tuna, is pregnant. Seems like they're planning an engagement soon." Mi's hand trembled as she tightened her grip on her phone. A bitter smile curved her lips. "So that's why he's been avoiding me all this time." Jealousy, pain, and rage twisted inside her chest. She had once believed that if she waited long enough, Alex would eventually come back. To her, his old friend, the one who had stood by him through all his hardest years. But now, he had given his heart to another woman, a woman who was carrying his child. That night, Mi sat alone in her dim apartment, the yellow light casting shadows across her pale face. She took sip after sip of wine, her mind spiraling into bitterness. In the haze of drunkenness, a dark thought began to form. If that baby didn't exist, things would be different. Alex would need me again, like before. And from that thought, a cruel plan took shape. Mi began gathering information, the name of the clinic Tuna had visited, mutual friends of Alex, old acquaintances. She even pretended to be supportive, sending Alex a congratulatory message, her words dripping with false warmth. Alex, unsuspecting, replied politely and briefly, unaware that me was now watching Tuna's every move, following her online through mutual friends, even through casual sightings around town. One afternoon, as Tuna was shopping for vegetables at the market, me appeared in front of her, wearing a pleasant smile. "You're Na, right? I'm me, an old friend of Alex's. He's mentioned you quite a lot." Tuna blinked in mild surprise but smiled politely. "Oh, hello. Yes, he's told me about you too." Me tilted her head slightly, her expression sweet but her eyes sharp. "I heard you're expecting. Congratulations. You're really lucky." Her tone sounded harmless, but beneath it was something cold. When Tuna walked away, me remained standing there, her face darkening. "Lucky, huh? Let's see how long that luck lasts." That night, me began her true plan. She would create an accident, something small, something that would seem coincidental. A drink laced with something harmful, a fake invitation, or a single push at the top of a stairway. Meanwhile, Tuna sensed none of it. She only felt from time to time that someone was watching her. At the market on her way home, a strange gaze from afar. There were even phone calls with no words, just quiet breathing before the line went dead. One evening while Alex was still at work, Tuna heard a noise outside the yard. She picked up Uri and stepped out to check. The iron gate rattled slightly in the wind, but under the pale moonlight, she caught a glimpse of a shadow moving behind the trees. Her heartbeat quickened. Fear crept up her spine. She quickly shut the door, drew the curtains, and held Uri close to her chest, trembling. Her hand went instinctively to her belly, where another tiny heartbeat was growing. "It's okay, my baby. Mommy's here," she whispered, tears streaming silently down her cheeks. Outside, hidden in the dark, me stood still, watching the small house with eyes as cold as steel. "If you had never shown up," she whispered to the wind, "he would still be mine, and I'll make sure things go back to the way they were." A strong gust swept through, rustling the trees, as if foretelling that darkness and danger were drawing closer to Tuna and the precious life within her.
Hello, xin chào mọi người, rất vui được gặp lại mọi người trong video của mình. Hiện tại kênh của mình đang phát hành câu chuyện của người mẹ đơn thân Lý Tiểu Na và tình cảm mà Tử Na và Alex đã được chớm nở khi sinh linh bé nhỏ thứ hai là con của Tử Na và Alex đã xuất hiện. Liệu rằng đứa bé này sẽ gắn kết Tử Na và Alex đến hết cuộc đời hay không? Và đằng sau những âm mưu của My đang nhằm tới đứa con của Tử Na, liệu Tử Na sẽ phải đối diện như thế nào? Và Alex sẽ phải làm gì để bảo vệ hai mẹ con Tử Na? Mời mọi người đón xem ở video tiếp theo nha. Chúc mọi người có những phút giây vui vẻ khi xem vui video và rất mong mọi người ủng hộ kênh của mình để mình có động lực ra nhiều video hơn. Cảm ơn mọi người đã xem hết video hôm nay. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại mọi người nha.